In the heart of the whispering forest, Hansel and Gretel stumbled upon a sight that stole their breath away. Bathed in a soft, ethereal glow, a house stood in a clearing, shimmering as if woven from a dream. Its walls were not made of wood or stone, but of a golden sugar crust that sparkled like freshly fallen snow. The windows were framed with intricate, twisted branches of caramel, and the roof glistened with layers of chocolate tiles, each one looking soft enough to melt on the tongue. Gretel's voice was barely a whisper. "Hansel? Is it real?" Hansel, his heart pounding, reached out a trembling hand. His fingers pressed against the wall, sinking ever so slightly into the warm, sweet sugar. A gasp escaped his lips. "It's real," he breathed. "And it's delicious." A gnawing hunger, which had been their constant companion since morning, finally overshadowed their fear. The memory of their last meager meal had long faded. Gretel, emboldened, carefully broke off a small piece of the caramel window frame. She placed it on her tongue, and her eyes widened in pure delight. "It's sweet," she exclaimed. "Try it." Unable to resist, Hansel snapped off a chunk of the chocolate roof. The rich, velvety flavor exploded in his mouth. "This is the best thing I've ever tasted," he declared, his voice filled with a joy he hadn't felt in days. They ate with a desperate fervor, breaking off pieces of gingerbread trim and candy cane pillars. But as their hunger began to subside, a new feeling crept in. A strange, unsettling silence had fallen over the forest. The birds had stopped singing. The wind had died down. Even the leaves on the trees seemed to hold their breath, as if the entire woods were watching them. Then, with a low, drawn-out creak, the front door of the candy house swung open. A figure emerged, but it wasn't the hunched, cackling witch they'd heard about in stories. This was a tall, elegant woman with hair as silver-white as sponge sugar and eyes that shimmered with the inviting warmth of melted caramel. Her smile was gentle, welcoming, almost too welcoming. "My poor children," she said, her voice as soft and smooth as cream. "You must be starving. Please come inside. There is more food, a warm fire, and a safe place to rest." Gretel clutched Hansel's arm, her initial delight turning to suspicion. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice small but firm. The woman bowed her head with a graceful tilt. "Just a lonely baker who loves to have company. It gets so quiet out here all alone." Despite her kind words, a chill traced its way down Hansel's spine. Something about her voice was undeniably sweet, yet there was a sharp edge hidden beneath it, like a shard of glass concealed in honey. Her kindness felt practiced, her smile a carefully constructed mask. But then, a new scent drifted from the open doorway, wrapping around them like an irresistible spell. It was the aroma of freshly baked bread, warm cinnamon, and roasting nuts, a scent that promised comfort, safety, and a full belly. It was everything they had been dreaming of. The woman stepped aside, her hand gesturing toward the cozy interior. "Come, little ones," she cooed. "You are safe here." Hansel and Gretel exchanged a long, silent look. It was a look filled with a chaotic mix of emotions, fear battling with hope, hunger wrestling with doubt. The promise of warmth and food was a powerful lure, a siren's call to their weary bodies and desperate hearts. Slowly, hesitantly, they took a step forward. And then another. They crossed the threshold, leaving the silent, watching forest behind them. The door swung shut with a soft final click, plunging them into the warm, sweet-smelling darkness. It was only then, as their eyes adjusted to the dim light, that they began to see the truth. The house wasn't just made of sweets to be eaten. It was a cage, exquisitely designed to trap anyone who dared to enter. What happens next? How will Hansel and Gretel escape the clutches of the baker? Find out in the next thrilling episode. The Trap Behind the Sugar Walls. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it.